This is Shirlene. I'm the host of the Southern Gal Show. And we have a really special guest today, Tommy Johnsin. Tommy is an iBoomerang Diamond Ambassador, and he's going to tell you a little bit about iBoomerang and what we do. But he leads this team with dignity and grace, and I can tell you from following Tommy, it is a joy to be on his team, and I am on his team, and I'm very happy about that. He's always willing to help anybody who seriously wants to grow their business. He's going to be your biggest cheerleader. He is a husband, father, entrepreneur, brother, an all-around well-liked guy, I can tell you that. Tommy is going to share his experiences in network marketing. He's been in network marketing a long time, and he's now in iBoomerang, and he's going to tell you why he prefers and maybe likes iBoomerang the best. And so I'm going to turn it over to Tommy and let him share a little bit of his background and where he was with network marketing and his experiences and why he moved over to iBoomerang. Okay, Tommy, welcome.
Thank you, Shane. And I am equally thankful that we're part of the same team. I am enjoying working with you. I absolutely love your comments and so forth on social media, and I'm really thrilled about what you're doing here with your radio show. Congratulations on your success with this program that you have going here.
Well,
and thanks. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we're just glad to have you here. We really appreciate it.
Anytime. Well, okay, so I live in Surprise, Arizona, and I'm originally from Arizona. I live here with my beautiful wife, Lindsay, and we have 2 children. Our son is named Jerry. He goes to Ottawa University, and he has a scholarship to play basketball there. He'll be a sophomore this year.
Hey.
Yeah. He's 19. Our home away from home has been the basketball court, just for a long time. So he loves the sport. We love the sport. We're just as proud of him if he never touched another basketball. But we love the opportunity to teach life lessons through the sport. So it's been very good for us. And for our daughter, same thing. She's 15. Her name is Sierra. And she loves to sing. She just lights up when she's in front of a crowd and loves to perform and dance for anybody that will watch it. Our coffee table has been her stage, from when she was a little girl.
That's awesome.
The stage has got bigger over the years, and we just love being present for whatever it is that our children have a passion for doing. I think that it's one of the most special things, in life that we can experience is watching them express themselves and doing something that they love to do. And that is why we ended up building a home-based business in the first place. It was to have that type of freedom, to be able to do that. But I didn't come into the business model understanding it. I wasn't always a cheerleader for it, people are down on what they're not up on. And what happened was I had a lot of people approach me over the years with home-based businesses and network marketing companies. In the 90s, I was in the fitness world. I was a fitness trainer. And then I went into real estate. And so we were approached quite often, but there always seemed to be some hype, some unrealistic expectations, approaches that consisted of a lot of fear of loss. I don't like the timeshare presentation. If you don't buy it today, it's 3 times as much tomorrow.
Yeah.
That type of thing has always kind of pushed me away from a model. And, then what happened, so I did what people do, a lot of people do, unfortunately. And I throw the proverbial baby out with the bathwater. I know that sounds horrible, but my wife hates it when I use that one, but I haven't found something to replace it. But what happens is we are approached wrong, and then we just do what a lot of people do, and we say, oh, those things don't work, and they're pyramid schemes. You have to be in early, you have to be at the top, or whatever that we hear other people say. It's easier to just join them. And my mom was at a point in her life where she was struggling financially. She found herself over $100,000 of debt. She put on a big, beautiful Christian concert. She was in corporate America for 20 years, lost her job, said no more. It's not going to happen again. Her boss was threatened by her, and She started her own businesses, and year after year, she was the first to get there, the last to leave, and the last to be paid in so many cases.
Yeah.
And so we kind of had a month-to-month thing going for a while, and then she found herself, she put on this big, beautiful concert, her Christian concert at Peoria Sports Complex here in Arizona. And the event was amazing. However, there was another big event that changed the dates due to weather, and they landed the new date on the same date that my mom's event was happening. And so the attendance just wasn't there. And she had a lot of vendors that she built relationships with over the years that fronted their services based on the relationship, because she didn't have the means to pay them in advance. She was counting on the money that came from the attendance, and it didn't come in. So she had a 12-year plan to pay these vendors back. She didn't want to file bankruptcy, just ethically and morally. She had a responsibility. And then she reconnected with a long lost cousin, and that she hadn't seen for over 30 years. He did a family reunion and hired a service and was able to find family members and located my mom. And we went down there, and I just found this picture the other day. We were walking up this guy's driveway in San Diego in 2000, November of 2000. The driveway was, we didn't know what he did, but the driveway was about 100 yards long, wound up a hill, at least, maybe more.
Yeah.
And he had lived on a home that overlooked one of Patrick Swayze's ranches there in San Diego. And it was like a botanical forest walking up this driveway with full-time gardeners. And I looked at my mom, my wife here, she's pregnant with our son, just a couple months. He was born 010101. We're walking up this driveway, and I said, Mom, what does this guy do anyway? She goes, he must sell drugs. and throughout the day, she said, Bob, what do you do? And he said, oh, a little of this and a little of that. And she thought, yep, drugs. He grew up, she was the middle of three girls. He was the middle of three boys. He grew up kind of rough in a rough town in Southern California. And she just didn't know what he did. And 30-something years earlier, he approached her with Amway, and she said, why don't you go get a real job? That's what he did, or she did. And then she found herself in this situation. 2 years after this, they reconnected. He was coming through town here in Arizona to look at some land in Sedona. And she found out what he did. He had become one of the world's best network marketers, made tens of millions of dollars, had total personal and professional freedom at that point. And she just told her where she was at, and she was in a 10-foot bedroom by 12-foot bedroom she rented from a friend, and everything she owned fit in that room and a small storage unit up the road, single.
Wow.
And yeah. And a few months later, he called and said, hey, I'm selling my business. He was in another network marketing company where he was the top money producer, but he didn't like the direction the company was going. So for the fourth time, or third time in 33 years at that point, he was starting with a new company, and he never had made a mistake analyzing these companies. He was the master at it. He was engineer by trade. He knew how to ask the hard questions. And he sold his business because they're assets, and that's something a lot of people don't think about. These are, you can will them, gift them, sell them. This was the third one that he sold in 33 years, and he sold them for fortune. Started from scratch each time, but he was getting ready to start from scratch. And she told her, Carolyn, if you're coachable and we'll treat this like a real business, I will mentor you. And with this new company I'm starting. And she wasn't about to tell him to go get a real job again. Not this time. And, so for the next 4 months, Shirlene, I poked fun at my mom and told her it wouldn't work. Tried everything in my power to talk her out of it. Said those things don't work. And in hindsight, it's really disappointed in myself, because here I was trying to talk her out of something that ended up setting her totally free, paid off that debt in 2.5 years, and earned millions of dollars, traveled the world, lives life the way we deserve to live, and especially at that point in life, but I was trying to talk her out of it, and I knew nothing about it, and I wasn't replacing it with anything else.
Right.
And after 4 months, I agreed to a phone call with that gentleman, the rich guy that talked my mom into a pyramid scheme. That's how I define it. 30 and I knew it all, right? And on this phone call, he really just set me straight. He said, what exactly is it you think you don't like? Wealthy people praise it. Broke people say it doesn't work. I have more personal and professional freedom than probably anybody you've ever met. So, what is it exactly that you figured out that we haven't? Your mom tells me you're sitting in a sales trailer 60 hours a week, hitting reset every month, having to recreate that income based on how many homes you sell and what lifestyle you want to maintain. He said, that's never going to change. And he said, these opportunities are not created the same. There's dramatic differences in the doability and the sustainability. And there's truly something to be said for being in the right place at the right time. And he said, so, why do you think, and I said, well, you need to be pushy. You need to bother your friends and so forth. And he said, why do you think that? I said, well, that's because that's the way all my friends have approached me over the years. And they talked about making a jillion in a jiffy. 6 weeks later, they weren't talking about it anymore. And he said, well, so you're saying that none of them are set for life? And I said, no. He said, then why would you think that that's how you do it? That really got my attention because I thought that's a really good question. And his track record, was very good. And his communications, he was very straightforward. I say it was 12 years ago. After 5 years of running with him and learning so much, our life changed dramatically, but in every walk of life. Because the mentorship. But he passed away in an accident 12 years ago on Memorial Day, due to one of his favorite pastimes. But he changed so many lives in 38 years, including ours. So anyhow, he was right. My mom was right. I was wrong. He made the same commitment to me. He said, if you're coachable and if you'll treat this like a real business, I will take responsibility for your success. I said, how can you say that? I thought that was somewhat irresponsible. And he said, well, there's only one possible outcome. And I didn't understand at that time two things, well, a lot of things, but two in particular. The value of the mentorship. And, here he had helped people because this is a business that's completely built on helping people. And he had done it over and over and over with 3 previous companies. And he didn't bring over his team with him because when you sell the business, you sign a 5-year non-compete. So you have to start with new people. Can't touch with people. They go with the business, right? And so the business is the asset, not you. And that's what's so unique about it. It's leverage at its finest. But anyways, he was able to find coachable people that treated it like a business, and he had a track record of knowing how to mentor them and help them succeed. And if he helps me succeed or other people succeed, that's how he succeeds. Right. He didn't make a dime if he didn't help us make a dollar. So, and the second piece that I wasn't clear on, and what made me feel that maybe it was an irresponsible suggestion at the time, was the fact that he knew how to analyze them. And they're not created to him. He recognized what he had a hold of. He knew how to ask the hard questions. So it had all the ingredients where it looked to be almost guaranteed based on his assessment. Now, most people, including me, they all sound the same. But here he was, an engineer, a student of the business, and never made a mistake picking the companies and telling you which companies would succeed at what level and how hard they would be or how much easier they would be or whatever. And so we plugged in, after that phone call, we agreed to go to an event. Events are critical. We went to an event in Las Vegas, kind of kicking and screaming because of the hole that I had dug for myself verbally with and pride. And so, but we went to the event and I saw the success stories and I just couldn't justify they could all do something that I couldn't do. And they were living the life that I had felt that I would have helped create for my family, the freedom to be able to attend whatever it was that our children, grew into and became passionate about. That's what I wanted, and wanted to be present and not have to worry. But I didn't know how to be successful prior to that. I wanted to be, but I didn't know how to be. And that's where the mentorship came in. And that was dumb luck hitting a great mentor our first time. We didn't know the value. It was providence, dumb luck. I don't know, but we recognized it, and it completely changed our lives. Less than 3 years later, we earned our first $1 million, stayed with that company for another 11 years, about 14 and a half years, earned millions of dollars, had a great time until the last couple of years. We started to lose the passion for it. We started to lose the confidence in the direction that the company was going. And so we sat idle and we watched, but the income kept coming in. Though it was declining, it was still substantial. Mm-hmm. One day we decided that, it's not about the money. We're not having fun. And so for us, it was the right time for the right reasons. And we left on great terms. We never had a compliance issue, but we resigned. Hmm. And weren't clear on what was next. And Charlene, we were approached by so many people during those last 2 years and the next 3 years, just because we weren't posting and so forth. And people understand the business model. If you had success, they're on to something else, and they'll approach us. And I always have asked people to listen to what we're doing. Knowledge is rarely a disadvantage. And so as a student, I'm always listening and to the other opportunities, other businesses out there. And also because I was open. But over 100 different opportunities came across our plate. And the harder our questions got, the less interested we became every time, because we felt that we could find things that made it an unlevel playing field, or that were irresponsible practices to facilitate some momentum and essentially exit strategies. And having had the luxury and the blessing of that mentorship along the way, I really learned a lot about how to assess them. Mm-hmm. Then came iBoomerang. I got a phone call from a really good friend of mine who said, "Hey, Holton Buggs Jr. is starting a company." So Charlene, Holton, as you know, he is an icon in this business model. I've studied him. I've listened to him. I've known who he was. I've tried to steal his content and apply it to my business. And because of the success that he had, he's no questions asked, the Michael Jordan of this model. Yeah. He's the Bill Gates, if you will. He's done things that nobody's even come close to. And very well respected, brings an incredible track record to the table. But to be able to come into a company and earn over $100 million in less than 10 years and support over 45 seven-figure annual earners in the process. Right. Nobody's even come close to that. He is the record holder. And I used to call my friend who was actually sponsored by him at that company where he did that as an ambassador, as a distributor. And I would say, "What is the secret? Send me the system." And he would say, "I'll send you everything, but you cannot steal culture." And at the time, I couldn't wrap my head around one culture being that much better to allow that much more success. Two of the best networkers in the world that I'm very, have had the fortune to be with for a long time and to learn from, collectively, one's retired, one passed away, collectively earned about 110 million in a 76-year window of time. Two of the best collectively. And here Holton comes in recently in 10 years, earns over 100 million from start to finish. Not in the middle of his career with that company. He'd been in the industry for nearly 20 years at that point when he started to become a serious student of human behavior. Mm-hmm. and learned. He says the industry is broken. People are perfect the way they are. And his gift, he learned to implement solutions. First of all, he's the biggest thinker I'd ever seen. He thinks bigger than everybody else I've ever met combined. And that's important. Yeah. Yeah. And then he's able to, as any entrepreneur understands, problems are opportunities. And the solution is the opportunity. But he's able to implement a solution that doesn't require human behavior to be altered. So in our business, in iBoomerang, I couldn't wrap my mind around it at first because there's nothing to compare iBoomerang to. It's like comparing the internet to something. It's totally different. They use the hashtag just different. That's an understatement. Mm-hmm. This is where it's really critical that people don't miss out on an opportunity like this because they assume it's like the other ones or it's like I almost did. But this is dramatically different. Dramatically different. It's a business proposition for a stay-at-home mom or for the most successful business savvy entrepreneur out there or somebody that aspires to be an entrepreneur. And when they look at it, they think, wow, this is just different. And at the end of the day, what's so different about it? Holton Buggs. And when we started to do our diligence, our nose was onto the trail. We started asking questions. The more we asked, the better it got. And we've tried a year into it, just looking under the hood, anything to find something irresponsible, because once you've been hurt, it's hard to fall back in love. Mm-hmm. And it's our credibility and influence. When you build this business, our decisions can affect so many people, mm-hmm. for the good or the bad. Mm-hmm. And Holton said, "Tommy, give me 1% of your trust, and I will earn the other 99%." And Charlene, I can comfortably say he's done that. I mean, if it's possible to exceed that, he's done that. That's because awesome. He does what he says he's going to do, and we're having the time of our life. And that's our whole story in networking. And it's been a year, and we've done what took us 2 years in our first company to do. And the company is ground floor, but we're not in iBoomerang for what it is today. The real excitement is for what it will be in 3 to 5 years.
Exactly right. One of the things I want you to talk about is, how is it just different? Kind of explain, because a lot of people have never heard of iBoomerang on our audience. So kind of tell them a little bit about how it's different. And then we're going to move into the vibe story, which is where I'm really excited right now.
Well, that's such a loaded question. Let me keep it as simple as possible, because I could go on for hours of what's different about it, because the industry's been the same for over 80 years. It's just been the same. Mm-hmm. It's like Groundhog's Day, and where only the highly skilled recruiters win. The objective of any business is to get and keep customers, right? Mm-hmm. Network marketing has failed miserably at getting and keeping customers. Mm-hmm. And because they pay more for something, and then it's got even more difficult with the evolution of companies like Amazon, where even some of the network marketing companies are competing against their own ambassadors, their own distributors. Mm-hmm. I hesitate to even, if a company's doing that, how can you call your ambassadors ambassadors? That would be just a distributor. An ambassador mm-hmm. champions the cause. When you mm-hmm. don't, your company is competing against you and not champion the cause. I think they need to be careful about is the transparency and the integrity, the id factor, as we call it here at iBoomerang, aren't in line. Well, so and then the distributors will offload their products. Disgruntled distributors offload their products on these type of platforms, and so customers can go find the same product for less money and get it quicker, and they don't have to lock into some type of an auto ship or something.
Free shipping.
Yeah, exactly. So the industry has changed, and whether people want to admit it or not, it's broken. It's been broken. So
it is.
I've always said, if you want to succeed on a great level, you need to become a highly skilled recruiter, because only highly skilled recruiters won. People that had the emotional stamina to see it through, and had an emotional enough why that overrode the rejection and the delayed gratification and all of the things associated. But you could still do it, but it was difficult. Everybody couldn't do it. Holton tells the story of the elephant and the monkey and the fish, and he said, they're in class, they're all in school together, and the teacher has a quiz, and the quiz particular test is climbing a tree, and so it's the same quiz. They all have the same quiz, but the elephant looks and says, "Charlene, I'm an elephant. I could run over the tree, but I don't climb trees." Right. And the fish is like, "I'm a fish. I'm in the water. How am I going to climb this tree?" But it's the same test. And the monkey's like, "I've got this. I mean, I do this for breakfast, lunch, dinner. This is no problem." And until what's that?
I said that's what he does.
Yeah. Until now, the industry has been the significant success has been reserved for the monkeys. That's the recruiters, the highly skilled recruiters, the extroverts, the people that are willing to just get out and do whatever it takes to have that unique ingredient on the inside that you can't replicate. And everybody else has been kind of the elephants and the fish. And iBoomerang was not built for the monkeys. You don't have to recruit a single soul if you don't want to. We don't have to. We have nothing to sell. You don't have to become a salesperson. We You don't have to present. We have the most unique, compelling tool that does the heavy lifting for you. I've never seen anything like it. Why? Because there's never been anything like it. I'm looking behind me. On my wall, I have I could show it to you, but picture, like just a big piece of paper. One of those, like, I'm just going to show you.
You're going to do it.
I have to add two to it. I wrote down just a few months ago, I started this. I wish I would have done it a year ago, but it sounds too good to be true counter. Every time I hear somebody say, that sounds too good to be true, I put another notch on the it's too good to be true counter, because I've heard it more in the last year than I have in my life collectively prior. And because it's just amazing. We give out things, and we are monetizing savings. In iBoomerang, you only make money when your customers save money, from your customers. Well, so you say, what's different? The short answer, Charlene, is that is Holton Bugs. The short answer to everything. What's the difference between all of the wonderful coffee shops, mom and pop coffee shops that arguably have better coffee than Starbucks? What's the difference between them and Starbucks? The person at the helm. What's the difference between Sony and Apple? I remember, do you remember Kmart?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At Kmart and Walmart, the same concept. Mm-hmm. Kmart was closing all their stores while Walmart was becoming, the biggest company in the world at the time. What's the difference?
Right.
It's who's at the helm. And at the end of the day, it's, this man, Holton Bugs, and he is just different. And every aspect of this business, thank goodness that it even is network, that he came up with the idea, because he loves network marketing. And it's his gift back to the industry. So that's what originally intrigued me. That's what's different, Charlene, is when I heard my friend say Holton Bugs Jr. is starting a company, instantly my thought was, why? The company is not born out of the necessity to make money. That got my attention. And here, in 2019, here's another thing that's different. 2019, we pre-launch started March 11th. The company officially launched on September 1st. And in the first year, the company was identified as the fastest growing company in the home-based business space. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think that's ever happened in this space. I don't know if it's happened in any existing space where a first-year company was the fastest growing in the world against companies that have been around for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And here in 2020, in the midst of the pandemic, we had our record-breaking months. And that's just different. That's different. So we're growing faster than we ever have at a time when a lot of companies are preparing for a decline and a hit.
How many customers do we have? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 800,000 customers. After a little better than a year, and all around the world, we're open in over 180 countries, and customers are free, free to get, free to keep. It just brings value to their life, so you can build as big of a customer following as you want. Here's another thing that's different. The company is taking responsibility to keep our customers. Remember, to get and keep customers. We gather customers as ambassadors using an Uber-like approach or an Amazon approach. Free to get, free to keep. And when they use it, they're guaranteed to save money. And then every time a customer is acquired by somebody, a free customer, a meal is fed to a starving child through Manna Relief and our Boom Foundation, where we fed over 6.5 million meals already. And then when the customer uses our technology, then they save money. They're guaranteed to do so and have a first-class consumer experience. And then when they save money, you make money. So there's nothing to sell, and we're not encouraging them to buy something they're not already doing. That's different.
People just buy what they want to buy when they want to buy it, and they save money, and that's how we make money. That's what really attracted me to the company. First, because I've been in network marketing a long time too, but that was what really attracted me the most to this company, was the fact that I could do things, get customers, and not have to keep getting new customers. And you get new customers, but you can retain the regular customers. I've never lost a customer. They're there. They stay on as my customer. They have no reason to leave. They don't have to be on auto ship. They don't have to do any of that. And so I love that. Customers buy what they want when they want.
Exactly. Have you ever heard of an Amazon customer quitting or a an Uber customer quitting.
Right.
There's no reason to quit. It just brings value to their life. It's a more convenient and less expensive way to do something they're already doing. And but they didn't give us an opportunity. We missed those, to earn from. But once the customers are off the market, this is the first mover's advantage. Once a customer's off the market, they're off the market for life. So they're connected to the person that gave the boomerang. Throw out goodwill, what comes back? Goodwill. You throw out savings. In our case, it flies back into our pocket in terms of a travel savings bonus, which is cash. So the savings, it's a win-win. Someone saves money, you earn money. It's really brilliant. It is. Sounds too good to be true.
It does, but it is true. Tell our audience what a iBoomerang is. I mean, a lot of people again haven't heard of this company and wouldn't know exactly how that works. Yeah,
that's why it's important to get back to Charlene. but in
Let's
short,
throw some iBooms out.
Right. So many people will think iBoomerang is a travel company. I just had a good friend of mine, a very experienced networker, messaged me and said, "Oh, so you're in the travel business now?" No. I travel to iBoomerang would be like what burgers are to McDonald's. McDonald's wants us to believe that's a burger play, but it's a real estate play. And iBoomerang is a digital real estate play. What we're building here is a digital Amazon.com that's disguised as a travel company on the front end, and we're at the very, very beginning of it. So our company takes responsibility to keep our customers for us and to turn them into appreciating assets. So imagine it. Wait a minute, Tommy, you're telling me that I can get customers by throwing them a boomerang, free to get, free to keep, connecting them to me for life. They can use now that will give them access to their free travel platform where they can save on restaurants, save on golf, save on wine clubs, go to paint night in their area like Groupon. They can go do excursions. They get hotels. They get Airbnb type homes with no blackout dates on any of these. They can go on cruises. They can take flights. They can do world tours and on and on and on.
And they can book their own, just like they can on Expedia. They can go book your own stuff.
They can book their own stuff in a private setting for the first time in history. They can, in a private setting where their data is not collected and sold like it is on all the public aggregator sites. And it will save them a ton of time opening up 15 different browsers, chasing their tail, trying to save $10. And they're guaranteed to save money, and it's private for free. People are already traveling. It's not something that we have to encourage them to do or sell them something that they wouldn't be buying otherwise, or that they'll cancel as soon as you turn your back, or that they can go get somewhere cheaper. They can't get it cheaper. We're 110% guaranteed to be the best price. And then every time, we're done with them when we give them a boomerang, and every time they use it, if they save $1, I make 50 cents. If they save $100, I make $50. And then the only piece and I don't have to go build a team if I don't want to. Yep, right. That's the reality. If I do want to build a team, what's in it for me? Oh, well, then your teams will go out and give boomerangs out to people, and say their circle of influence and people they know money for free. There's no catch. The customer never pays a dime, right, unless they use the technology. And when they do, they save money. That's what we're monetizing. Never happened before. Well, and then I now earn overrides on all of my team's customer savings as well. Right.
Brilliant. So you earn money when my customers use the site.
A little bit. That's the only
piece.
There you go. I don't have to build a team, but I can. I can just give customers. So if I can build a team, the monkeys can build teams, right? Already proven that. Not everybody wants to become that, but here it's so much easier because the story is so much different. It's so compelling that everybody wants to do it. And then the customers, I could just go get free customers and drivers. Because the company's going to bring different verticals to our ecosystem, and those same customers, I never have to recruit a single soul if I don't want to. Those same customers are now brought our different verticals. Remember how Amazon started with books? Why did they start with books? Because they wanted to learn the customer. They learned the customer based on what they bought. And they use data analytics and artificial intelligence to bring to those customers exactly what they want in a tasteful manner. We have what we call Holton's Genius, the PRIB, Perpetual Residual Income Builder. Essentially, that's our real product. We bring people into the PRIB with travel. something everybody does, love it or hate it, they do it, to the tune of $8 trillion. The economic potential of your business, Charlene, is that of the product or service.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest product in the world, bigger than food, gasoline, oil combined.
Mm-hmm.
Travel is. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going anywhere.
Right.
And then, so that's the economic potential of our door opener. The PRIB, perpetual, never ending, residual, the best kind of money in the world, income builder. Who wants a PRIB? Everybody. Who wants to partner with a PRIB? That's the best business partner in the world. It works 24/7. That's why we like Amazon. We don't get mad at Amazon for bringing to us the things that we want and making our life more convenient. Well, they learned what we wanted with books. iBoomerangs, Alexa is the PRIB. It's iBoomerangs Siri. The PRIB is data analytics, AI, and real people power going to work for us while we're sleeping and learning your customers, and in a tasteful and professional manner, bringing to them different verticals based on their search habits. So you get these free customers. The company uses an Amazon philosophy to keep them and to bring to them different verticals within our ecosystem, make their life better and more convenient, save them money, give them world-class personal experiences, mm-hmm. and turn them into appreciating assets. Mm-hmm. Charlene, it's almost like having 20/20 foresight. I really feel that way. Mm-hmm. But we're very early. I always ask people, when would you rather get on an airplane? When it's on the ground or when it's already in the air?
Obviously.
We're having the time of our life, and we're helping people. It's really incredible. This man that started this company is an absolute genius, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be along for the ride and plugging in and helping people in the process.
Well, let's switch to Vibe Ride, our newest. When we talk about a vertical, it's a service, new service that we offer. Let's talk about the Vibe Drive service that just opened in April.
Yep. Okay. So the second vertical, or the second service that iBoomerang will bring to customers and the opportunity to us, is our own rideshare company. Holton purchased a company called Vibe Ride. And just transportation alone, the economic potential, it's $1.2 trillion industry. Charlene, that's bigger than all of network marketing.
Huge.
Remember, the economic potential of your individual iBoomerang position is that of the product or the service that you have access to. Mm-hmm. Rideshare is not a novel idea that will run its course overnight. That's just like, hey, a product, the problem is with products, if it's good, it's just a matter of time before Me Too companies are everywhere, or that you can find your own product on Amazon.
Yep. And
price matters. It doesn't matter if you have an exclusive or this product is, but I've been through this before, and it's totally irrelevant anymore. Once, so you have these little growth curves, these runs, excuse me, with a product, it's just a cycle, and it's short-term, short-lived. And you have to hope that the founder thinks big enough, or because their feet aren't held to the fire, to go reinvest it and create another entry point or a new, refresh the opportunity where people can come in and have that startup and stability coexist. And if you look at the history of this industry, very few companies has ever done that. That's why we resigned from a company. They never did that. There's only one direction to go at the beginning, and that's up. But then, can people come in later, and can you help them? We didn't feel like we could help people any longer, and a business is built on that because they didn't refresh it. Mm-hmm. And it got comfortable, or fear. Either one are ambition killers. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's the opportunity. Well, that's why at the beginning I said it's so critical that the founder is a big thinker. Mm-hmm. 50 billion a year is the end goal for Holton Bugs with this. He's that big of a thinker. And the short-term goal is 10 billion annually in less than 10 years. Mm-hmm. The biggest networking company in the world took over 40 years to get to 10 billion. Yeah. He's not comparing iBoomerang to network marketing companies.
He'll do it too.
Oh, there's no, with or without you and I.
That kind of leader. He'll do it.
And for the right reasons it will get there. There's no irresponsible things. There's no exit strategy. In fact, our first company, when it launched, the 6 founders, they're great people, but they were not wealthy at that point. A year into it, they drove, and lived wealthy. Holton already is wealthy. A year into it, he hasn't taken a penny from this company. He's used all of his own money to build it. That's just different.
We have no debt.
No debt. These are the intangibles. These are the reasons why I boomerang. That's why this is why I boomerang. It has nothing to do with, just something as simple as this product really changed my life. I had great results with it. That's great. Keep consuming it. But from a business perspective, there's dramatic differences in the doability and the sustainability. And we only want to do this one more time. And so, we thought about calling our team Incognito. There's so many networkers that are receiving checks in other companies, but they're dwindling and they're not having fun any longer, and they need that. But they're building this because they know how to ask the tough questions. They know what to look for, and they see things like Vibe Ride, and they're like, I am not missing this. But the industry says, go be free. But these companies over the years have said, if you take a picture with somebody else in another company, we will hold your check. You're not.
We'll kick you out.
How is that freedom?
Yeah, it's not.
And so Holton hates that. For the first time ever, the leadership's at the top. It's not in the field. It is plenty of leadership in the field. But most companies, there's just leaders in the field. The leadership is at the top. Nobody understands what we need better than Holton Buggs. He's the CEO. The system that he rolls out, the best in the world. And everyone's singing the same song. There's harmony down throughout, worldwide. And there's so many things. I keep going back to what's different. Everything is different.
Everything's different.
And so in Vibe Rides is no exception. Vibe Rides is the most exciting.
Vibe Rides to us, yeah.
Okay, so Vibe Rides. Imagine if one of the other transportation companies came to you 10 years ago and said, Shirlene, this technology makes transportation more convenient and more fun and less expensive. Go give it to everybody in the world that you want. And when they're off the market, they're for free. Capture as many people as you want. And we have a system to where these drivers come to us. We don't even have to go to them. It's amazing because they want their dignity and they want the opportunity to build their own fleet. So if that technology, if that transportation company told you that you could you can go build a fleet of drivers, you don't have to pay for the insurance. You don't have to do anything except give them a free code. Just share the opportunity with them to drive for us. And every single time, they'll earn the same amount or more money than they can driving for the other company. We're not saying don't drive for those companies. We're saying do this one as well. Right. And if you want, you can earn your active income by driving in the gig economy. But you can also tell your friends about it, and they can become free drivers. And every single time a drive is given or taken anywhere in the world, a meal is fed to a starving child because Holton Buggs is so different. He believes that we will eradicate child hunger, starvation. Why should we get wealthy and there's children starving to death? He says that at the beginning of this company, it's all about giving. I boomerang. I give goodwill. And it's mind blowing. You won't sleep at nights. But anyways, and then so rideshare, we can build our own fleet. But if another transportation company said you can go get as many drivers as you want and riders, and every time, and we're only in 6 cities right now, 4 cities in Florida, 2 cities in Texas. In fact, February 23rd has officially been named the 4th biggest city in the country, named Holton Buggs, our CEO and founder, as Holton Buggs Day, February 23rd. From now, for the rest of time, the mayor of the 4th biggest city in the country named it. Well, a Vibe Ride will be in over 700 cities. We're currently in 6. And so you have the opportunity to build as big of a fleet as you want all around the world. And every single time a drive is given, you get 3% of the fare that driver, is paid, that the company is paid. The driver earns 75% of the fare, which is comparable to the other companies. But they can also tell their friends, and they'll get 3% of the fleet that they build. Mm-hmm. How big of a fleet would you build in hindsight? There's 5.3 million rideshare drivers around the world and growing. There's 98 million rideshare passengers and growing. Mm-hmm. And so here you have an opportunity to capture as many free drivers and as many free riders. And your iBoomerang customers that are using the travel, the PRIB will bring to them an incentive to try Vibe Rides. How will they do that? You don't do it. You don't have to follow through. The PRIB does it. All those same customers will now become Vibe Ride passengers and maybe even Vibe Ride drivers. You would earn 6%. Sometimes I'll look over and see a Vibe Ride being given down the road, and I'm going to think, I wonder if that's my driver and my rider.
And my rider, yeah.
I wonder how much the fare is because I'll get 6% on this fare. And then an additional 3% that goes from every single, we don't have shareholders. We are the shareholders. This is different than the other model. And we get to another 3% goes into of the rider on the rider side and the driver side. So another 6% of every ride goes into the compensation plan and is shared on a pro rata basis amongst all the people that decided to build a team in addition to just gather customers, riders, drivers. And you don't have to be in those markets to build. I've got people, Charlene, in Canada that have hundreds of drivers already. I got people, or over 1,000. I've got people in Trinidad and Tobago and Sweden, all over the world that are part of my team that have put in hundreds of drivers in the markets that we're open in, and we just went live April 1st. Right. It's really like you can't.
It's mind blowing. I started building drivers about 2.5 weeks ago, and I get new drivers every day. I mean, every single day. There's so many out there that want to drive for Vibe Rides. It's easy to get drivers, I think.
You want to know why? Because they want their dignity back. They can make more money, and they can build their own fleet for the first time ever. They know the business. They're already doing it, and they know that the economic potential of it. They just never had that opportunity before. Well, also, female drivers can select girl power. Why didn't this happen a long time ago? Greed, I believe. Holton Bugs gives us competitive advantages. Drivers and riders can go into the app. You can download the app right now at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. The Vibe Rides driver and rider app. They can select girl power and only see female options to pick up or to be picked up by on any given shift. If my daughter is taking a ride share, I want her to select girl power. I want her to have that option. Or she's driving for a company, I want her to have that option. The safety option. Riders can choose their vibe. You can choose the music genre that's on the car when you get in, if any. You can choose whether you want the windows up or down. You can choose what you want the temperature to be at when you get in the car. You can choose the amount of communication, if any, that you want with the driver. I mean, there's significant competitive advantages. And the fact that our marketing company, iBoomerang, owns a travel company, and many other verticals come in that are mind-blowing. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. But they can, and to those same customers, let's just go out and get as many customers as we can so that they start, then they'll be familiar with all as they come forward. But they can, we own a travel company and so forth. So there's incentives. There are TV commercials will start in those markets and so forth to connect riders and drivers, to build the brand and give them good experiences. Now you earn their trust, and then they start booking travel too, because that same customer, hey, thanks for using Vibe Ride. If you share the app with 5 friends, you will get the next ride is free. And it can go into my back office and iGo platform and use a code and get a free Vibe Ride and share this with friends. Give them the app. I just had a good experience. Bam! That one customer that you got that took a ride now becomes 6 because the PRIB incentivized them to become. And that 5 goes through the same process. And it happens again. Next thing you get thousands of customers / riders that came from one customer, and the company did all the work. And they're all your customers because customers aren't eligible to be paid on any of the verticals. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, I've had drivers. I've talked to female drivers who really wanted to get into the Vibe experience because they could just pick up female customers, especially late at night. And I've had a lot of them tell me that's exactly why they came over to this company. So that concept is very needed out there.
Let me ask you a question, Charlene. You said you're putting in new drivers. You're expanding your fleet daily.
Daily.
Are you having to leave the house to do it?
No.
Is it hard?
No, it's easy.
Are you having to go find them?
Nope, they come to me.
This ranks right up there with brushing your teeth. This is, you haven't built a team yet to speak of, right?
Not much.
You can be considered a fisher in ocean, but you're building your business.
But I'm building my business. And I'm building it for the future too, because
no doubt
we are new. And these drivers, if you get enough drivers out there, and I intend to have a very large fleet, but you get enough drivers and you think about you make a little bit on each driver. You don't have to make a whole lot. You just make a little bit on each one. If you got enough drivers, you're going to make tons.
We have a calculator, a spreadsheet that shows us what we would make with X amount of drivers. I hesitate to even show it to people because it's so mind blowing. There's people. There's a gal. She's amazing. She's up in Northern California. She's somewhat shy. I would define her as an introvert. She's been around this industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
Never made any money because she's not one of the monkeys. She's just never been her personality. And plus she doesn't know, Sasha, love you, but she didn't know how to select companies. She just didn't know how. Most people don't. And she didn't know how to pick them. But regardless, she stayed with it. I thought she had quit. I saw, her name kind of faded away. The next thing I knew, I saw her being recognized for having 600 drivers, 700 drivers, 1,000 drivers, 1,500 drivers, 3,000 drivers.
3,000.
I'm like, I need to reach out to her, see what this girl's doing. She's just kind of figured out a way, and we're all following her.
We're all trying to do her way. Yeah, it's working too. I mean, she's awesome, really.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome to teach. She's where I learned how to do this, and it is very easy. And I don't spend a lot of time each day. I don't have a lot of time to spend on it. So it is a very easy way to build. I don't want to get into the income because we need an income disclaimer. But if you just made $1 a day, I guess I can say this, off your drivers, and you had enough drivers, you can do your own math. And I think $1 a day is realistic, especially down the road.
Very realistic. So, yeah, it's really mind blowing. It's just never happened before, and so being that we're early, scale is a real thing. We are. If you look at the innovators curve, the early adopters and so forth, we're at the very beginning of that. Well, again, when would you rather get on an airplane? When it's on the ground or when it's in the air?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. So we're just so fortunate to be able to participate in, and these are big undertakings. This is not manufacture a product, stored at a warehouse, and drop ship it to somebody's house when they place an order.
Yeah, no, we don't have to sell anything. They said drivers, they come to me with what I'm doing. I can go to my email site today, my page, and I'll find new ones. I get new ones every day, and then I contact them and set them up. But it's easy to do, and we can teach you how to do that. That part's easy. The thing of it is, we can't guarantee income because we can't guarantee what kind of work ethic you have. We don't know if you're going to do the things you need to do to make things happen. Because some people just don't. But the ones who want to, and they take it seriously, they can do it.
What you just said is what my mentor told me 18 years ago. The ones who treat it like a real business and that are coachable. It's like a gym membership. I liken it to a gym membership. You can do a gym, and we just rejoined a gym after years of being out of it. So, but everything is there for us. The system's in place. The trainers are there. The classes are already there. The equipment's there. The atmosphere is there. The environment is there. The people, the optimistic people that are doing it, that we can learn from, are there. It's just our job to go there and capitalize on that. Yeah. What's extra unique is we don't even have to leave our home to build this.
No.
That's one of the reasons why in the middle of the pandemic, we were growing like crazy, because we are a technology company, and people, what companies thrive during that? Technology. When's the best time to build a home-based business? When the whole world's at home. And so, iBoomerang is positioned, money is currency, Shirlene. It's moving. We became wealthy by investing in real estate, by building an asset while everybody else, while the economy was good, when nobody wanted to do it, we built an asset because we were taught by a mentor. And when everybody's doing something, you miss it. Then when nobody was buying homes, we had the means because we built the asset. And so we were buying homes. We were buying homes like crazy. We bought 22 homes. Why? Because we were buying them on pennies on the dollar. The money was shifting. I believe with what's happening in the world right now, we're seeing the biggest money shift in history. Wealthy people are building and buying assets. Broke people are posting about toilet paper and loading up on toilet paper. Yeah. So, and here we are positioned so well as independent contractors and ambassadors of the fastest growing network marketing company in history. And we're a technology, and we can move at the speed of today's world. We're we're Netflixing Blockbuster. We're moving the home-based business industry from the taxi cab age into the Uber age, into the modern area, into the Vibe era, into the iBoomerang era, and we're doing it with the best networker in the world at the helm.
And it's where the money's going, like you said. Follow the money, because that's where it's going.
So even with our travel component, some people are like, well, nobody's traveling. Really? Go to flightradar24.com and look at all of the airplanes in the air live real time and tell me nobody's traveling.
Yeah.
They have to stay somewhere, right? Yeah. And in history, travel bounced back quicker after every crisis and had record-breaking years, whether it was 9/11, SARS, Y2K, Ebola. Never one of those times where people told they needed to stay home. Cabin fever is a real thing. Validation. What companies thrived during the pandemic? Netflix, Hulu. Why? 90-minute miniature vacations away from reality.
Yeah,
Where's the first place you want to take your family when this is all behind us, right?
Yep. Yeah, we saw a big increase in our Ordinary People TV, where we have the Southern Gal show, where this show will be. But the amount of people that started watching just grew rapidly, just because people were home and they were looking for something different. I'm going to watch some other shows. I want something new.
Yeah,
so they're looking for that.
Right. And when would you want to have the opportunity to give out free travel booking platforms and build your own fleet and all these things when everybody's already booking or beforehand?
Or when it's already millions and millions and millions of drivers are already out there. There's still going to be millions more, but right now, the opportunity is just immense. And
we are positioned so well. The money's really right where we're positioned. And so
I want to build before 10 million other people are building.
Exactly. The customers before they're off the market.
Yeah.
And so we give out free. Here's how hard it is. There's a boomerang. 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 It's incredible. I hope everybody chooses to participate in this. Today, it's fun, and it needs to be fun. We're having a blast, and it's simple, and anybody can do it.
You know, we have, as far as training too. One of the things I like about the company is all the we have training that goes on all day long. You can hop on all day long and watch. You want to be entertained, or you can just get all kinds of training from all the diamonds and blue diamonds and whatever else is, and even the CEO Houghton Bugs. But the training and the motivation and the things like that, you don't have to wait till Thursday night or Friday night or Monday morning on a Zoom to get it. It's all day long. It's amazing. And
you know why?
Motivated, you just jump on there and listen to some of those people. You get motivated really quick. Tommy, I watch him just because I like to be motivated sometimes.
Because of the at the top, Charlene. And I can tell within 30 seconds of communicating with somebody what they're watching, if they're watching the news or if they're plugging into things like Boom TV within our ecosystem. Part of the cost of the price of admission includes the best mentorship, in an environment where you can associate, and the information is, as you're suggesting, is pushed to us by people who have what we want and work with complete integrity, complete transparency, like nothing I've ever experienced before. The boom is real. And just the mentorship, who you can become in the process by plugging into things that are free as part of our, like Boom.
Amazing.
What's that worth? Because I can tell by the tone of a text if somebody's watching the news or if they're plugging into things like Boom TV and investing in themselves and growing as an individual. And there's people that we love that we cannot afford to hang around, because association is underestimated. We are who we hang around. And I'm sticking close to iBoomerang. I'm sticking close to Houghton Bugs. I'm sticking
close to Tommy.
I'm sticking close to you,
and his mom.
We're going to be here with you every step of the way. And we can make that promise to everybody that comes on board. We will be with you every step of the way.
You are amazing.
We're together. And
that's what makes this team, like I said, another way it's just different, is really the training, the mentorship. I just have never seen anything like it. The training, the motivation it's overwhelming, really. It's just not overwhelming, I guess. Overwhelming in a good way. It's just there all the time. It's just, you want it, you go get it. If you don't go get it, it's your own fault.
That's exactly right.
Nobody else.
Full responsibility for our success or lack thereof. We all have access to the same things. It's all mindset and attitude and belief. And my wish for everybody is that they believe much bigger, much faster, and they get on board with this iBoomerang, and let's go out and have some fun and change lives and help people and set our families free so we can be present at the things that are important to us. Yep.
Yeah, I do this as much for myself, but it's much really for my family. It's more than maybe myself, because I want to leave that legacy for them too. So
my mentor's wife still, she's remarried to an amazing person, but they still live on what they built in the last 5 years of Bob's life, 18 years ago almost now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Well, we appreciate you coming on today and taking time to educate our audience a little bit and share part of yourself with them. Tommy is just such an amazing leader. And if you're interested in iBoomerang, I want you to get in touch with me, and I'll talk to you. I can put you on the phone. Tommy can talk to you, and we can just get you started. And you can contact us. Let us know.
Thank you, Shirlene. Thanks for having me today. Congratulations
so
on your success and your show and everything. And let's go change some more lives with iBoomerang.
We're going to do it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right, everybody, we're going to go. Be sure and watch the Southern Gal Show on ordinarypeople.tv. And we will see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.